Hello and welcome to the Monday edition of Vision Sports 360. I'm Austin Arome. We have quite a lot to talk about on the show today, from football. African Cup of Nations is ongoing. Nigeria beating Cameroon by 2 goals to nothing to reach the quarterfinals of the African Cup of Nations. And awaiting Nigeria, we have Angola, who won against Namibia 3-0. And also we have Guinea beating Equatorial Guinea 1-0, and then we also have Egypt as well against Democratic Republic of Congo. The match ended all square. It took the goalkeeper of the Congolese side to actually win the tie for them after all the penalty shootouts. And then we also have the NBA to talk about, that. Actually, I don't know how to put it, but it was actually a fantastic game on Sunday night, where we had the Denver Nuggets against the Philadelphia 76ers. We also have LeBron James edging out Steph Curry in a very close, keenly contested NBA match that ended 145 to 144 in favor of the LA Lakers after an overtime, game right there in the NBA. We also have in tennis, where Yannick Sinner also won his maiden Grand Slam title in Australia, beating Daniel Medvedev yesterday at the Australian Open. We also have, Ariana Zabalenka winning the women's game against Chinese Queen Wenzheng, who actually happens to be playing in her fourth final. And for Zabalenka, she's won a back-to-back Australian Open title, which makes her the most consistent female tennis player right now around the world. All this and more we get to talk about on the show. But before we do that, we need to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll kickstart the show with a bang on Vision Sport 360. All right, welcome back. And now, starting with football, this time we'll start with the African Cup of Nations. As you all know, it's no longer news that Nigeria defeated Cameroon by 2 goals to nothing. The Nigerian team, inspired by Victor Osimhen, even though he didn't get to score, but his efforts, I think, in that game is something that must be commended. He actually forced the Cameroonian defender to win back possession, thereby assisting Ademola Lookman, who scored Nigerian first goal. And also, Lookman doubled Nigeria's lead, I think, in the dying minutes of the encounter. And with this, we have Nigeria going to the next round, qualifying for the next round of the African Cup of Nations, which is the quarter-final. Going into this game, we were quite actually skeptical about what to expect from the Super Eagles, whether the good performance is going to be what we are going to see. Because when you look at the build-up to the round of 16 game, how Nigeria played. The first game they played against Equatorial Guinea, which they played 1-1. In the second game, the coach actually adjusted his formation, played out a 3-5-1 formation. If you look at how the team is set up, you see the wing back, or the supposed full back, playing as wing back, and then we have 3 center backs in Ola Aina. We have also Calvin Bassey, as well as Truth Ekong playing as the defenders. And then this formation, I think, worked to to an extent against the Ivorian side, where Nigeria won by a lone goal. But one problem, that the Super Eagles took to the round of 16 is the fact that they were not converting the chances that that were coming their way. But in this particular game, I will say that the Super Eagles were quite clinical. Not so many chances actually came, but then the ones that came, we could see what they actually did with it. I commend Victor Osimhen for the energy that he showed, the compassion, how he played in this particular one. He was just all over the field. He was all over, running the Cameroonian defense rag. And you look at how this actually panned out. According to the Nigerian players, they say no team actually can actually, there are no single player can actually win the game for a team. And you look at how this has panned out. The team, or the whole team, are attributing this to the fact that the Nigerian defense, so to say, begins from the attack. You look at the players that they have in the attack. You have Victor Osimhen, you have Ademola Lookman, you have Simon Moses. You look at how they play. They are not actually so focused on scoring the goals. They are also coming back, tracking their men back to make sure that they help their teammates. And this, for me, has been the winning formula, the way I see it. Because when you look at the way we were playing before, I think when the coach came in, we played our first game. The first game, I think, was against Atome and Principe, or won 10-1. It was a record win for the Super Eagles then. Then we played against Equatorial Guinea, and then from there, it's been, from one defeat to another draw, from another defeat. It's been like that, and a whole lot of people were quite skeptical if the NFF actually made the right choice in bringing the coach Jose Pizarro. But right now, it seems like everything is beginning to work well. They are not just scoring goals, they are also keeping things tight at the back. You look at our defense right now. The only game we've considered so far in the African Cup of Nations was our first game against Equatorial Guinea, and so far so good. The defense has been watertight. You look at Nigeria is no longer conceding, and then it's become like a talk of what everybody's talking about now. With the way Nigeria is playing, can they actually win the African Cup of Nations? I think we'll have to wait and see. With Morocco and Senegal still in the competition, you can't actually say what might happen. But with the way they are playing, I believe that the Super Eagles can actually win the championship. They just have to take it one game at a time. I'm talking about the Super Eagles. The goalkeeper Nwabali actually got injured in that game that resulted in a scare where a lot of people were not comfortable with Francis Ozor coming into the game, and it got to a point they were just praying that the match should end. But at the end of the day, the Super Eagles were able to see that out, and the next game, everybody's looking out for what is going to happen. Are we going to have Nwabali back before our next game? I think we'll come back here before that day. I think the next game is on Friday against Angola, and then we'll talk about it. We'll give you updates if Nwabali is going to be available for that particular game. And moving on, let's talk about Angola and next opponent. Angola actually defeated Namibia by 3-0 to actually show that they are here for business. Angola, one of those, I'll say, dark horses as far as this African Nations Cup is concerned, qualifying for their first quarterfinal. This is the first time they'll be making an appearance in the quarterfinal of the African Cup of Nations, and this time they are doing it like they mean it from the group stage, where they dropped just 1 point, and against Namibia as well, winning 3-0. For me, is a statement of intent, and the Super Eagles have to be wary of this Angola team. And even Ademola Lookman actually did testify to that Angola is actually a very, very dangerous team. And with that, we'll go on a short break on Vision Sport 360. welcome back to the show, still Vision Sports 360, and moving on, still within football, and this time we'll talk about other results. We're talking about Angola before the break. We also had Guinea and Equatorial Guinea. Equatorial Guinea is one of those teams that qualified from Nigerian Group A, played against Guinea. For me, Guinea, a formidable side as far as the African Cup of Nations is concerned. But then it took, the intervention of, I'll say it's not the intervention, it was actually a red card. Red card in that game for Equatorial Guinea. And then I think it happened in the 55th minute of the game where Federico Bicoro was shown a straight red card for a reckless foul against Bios Domen in that particular game. The Equatorial Guinea also won a penalty, but then their top scorer Emilio Nsue sent his effort against the wide post, and it was a historic moment for the Guinea side, who had never won a Cup of Nations knockout tie. This is the first time that they will be winning a knockout tie as far as the African Cup of Nations is concerned. And also we have Egypt, the match between Egypt and Democratic Republic of Congo. And one funny thing about this match between Egypt and Congo is the fact that these two teams qualified without winning a match in the group stage. Egypt played 3 draws in the group stage. Congo, 3 draws in the group stage. So what were you expecting? A lot of people said, what do you expect from 2 teams that have not won a game at the African Cup of Nations? Both teams came into this game with 3 draws, and that was exactly what happened. They ended up not winning the game. It took them extra time. 1-1, the game ended, and then Congo winning by penalty. Their goalkeeper, Egyptian goalkeeper rather, Mohamed El Shanawi, suffered a dislocated shoulder during the game, and it was Gabaski who actually came in to finish the game for them, but then he was not able to save them, and Congo moving ahead to the quarterfinals of the African Cup of Nations. So no need for break. We'll continue right there, and this time we're moving on to tennis. And in tennis, Jannik Sinner, the Italian, became the first Italian to win a Grand Slam title at the Australian Open, the 2024 Australian Open, beating Daniil Medvedev in actually it was a very tough game. He had to come from 2 sets down to win this particular one. And before the final, Jannik Sinner actually never dropped a point, except for that game where he dropped 1 set rather. He dropped 1 set to come from behind to beat Novak Djokovic, and in the final he had to do something that he's never done before, coming from 2 sets down to beat Daniil Medvedev, to claim the Australian Open title. And looking at how this has actually panned out, he's just 22. And when asked, he said that what actually happened, what helped him to win the trophy is the fact that he had to grow up fast. Growing up fast is the fact that when you are in sports, there are times where you are faced with a particular situation like what he's faced with in the final, and trying to come back from 2 sets down is like growing fast. So he had to grow fast despite the fact that he had less experience. He's just 22 years and winning his Grand Slam title, becoming the first Italian to do that. I think is actually a good one. Let's hope that he can continue with what he's doing at the moment. And we also have the women's game where Ariana Zabalenka beats China's Wen Zheng. I think it was actually pretty much a straightforward thing, a routine win for Ariana Zabalenka, who I would consider the most consistent female tennis player in the world right now, where you look at last year where she won the Grand Slam. I think she won the Australian Open last year. Got to the semi-finals of Wimbledon. Got to the semi-finals of the French Open. Got to the final of the US Open, where she lost to Coco Gauff. So you can say that this lady is quite consistent with what she's doing at the moment, and we hope that someone else would actually rise up and challenge her, so that we'll not have a pretty much straightforward tennis as far as the women tennis is concerned, because over the last maybe 3 to 4 years, we've had the situation where we don't have a consistent female tennis player. You see the likes of Coco Gauff coming in. You see sometimes Zabalenka. Sometimes you see there are so many of them, coming in and out. But there's not been any consistent tennis player at one point. So right now we have a consistent female tennis player. We hope that the likes of Coco Gauff can rise up to the challenge. The likes of Emma Raducanu can rise up to the challenge. We also have Naomi Osaka as well, who has been in and out. We hope that you'll get to that point where you have the top tennis players challenging it out, battling it out, so that we'll not have pretty much, should I say, predictable tournaments at the Grand Slam, because it seems like this is what it's gradually becoming. But then we hope that we'll see other tennis players rising up to the challenge. On this note, we would like to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with more sports stories. All right, welcome back to the show, and this time we'll talk basketball in the NBA. LeBron James edged out Stephen Curry as the LA Lakers win a thriller against the Golden State Warriors. LeBron James actually played 48 minutes out of the 58 minutes that was played in that encounter. He landed his 110th career triple-double as he helped the Lakers to a thrilling 145 to 144 overtime win against the Golden State Warriors. He secured the bragging rights over Steph Curry. And the funniest thing about yesterday's game is the fact that LeBron James is 39 at this point. You expect him to be slowing down, but then he's not slowing down. He's pushing beyond his boundaries. He scored 36 points, and also 20 rebounds and 12 assists. And Steph Curry, I won't say he managed, because it was a game high 46 points, but his 46 points was not enough as LeBron James and his team were able to drag the game to overtime. And then, during the overtime, I think in the last seconds, 9 seconds, the Lakers were awarded 2 free throws, which actually LeBron James converted to help his team win this one, 145 to 144 points. And the 4-time MVP, talking about LeBron James, acknowledged that his duel with Steph Curry is one that will look back fondly on when his career is over. So you can actually tell, how happy he was, getting one over Steph Curry. Steph Curry, for me, one of the most dangerous shooter in the history of NBA. You can't actually, play against Steph Curry and you let your guard down. He's one player that can actually shoot from anywhere, from within the arc, from outside the arc, even from his own court area. So playing against somebody like that and getting that bragging right over Steph Curry is something that actually excites LeBron James. And in the other game, we have the defending champion Denver Nuggets clinching a 111 to 105 point win over the Philadelphia 76ers, who were without their star man, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid was not available for this one, and then with Joel Embiid not available, there's only one. It's actually quite predictable, that this game will go one way, with the reigning champions, having the likes of Nikola Jokic, what I expect from him, with the likes of Luka Doncic in the team, you know what to expect from the team. So playing against Denver Nuggets any day, anytime, you know what to expect from them, and that was what they did, dispatching the Philadelphia 76ers 111 to 105 points, and Nikola Jokic actually scored 26 points, had 16 rebounds, while Jamal Murray added 23 points for Denver Nuggets. And that is where we wrap it up on today's show, the Vision Sports 360. I want to thank the production crew for doing a marvelous job behind the scene. And on behalf of all of us here, we'll say thank you for watching and bye for now.